Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. My name is Matt, and in today's video what I'd like to do is go over the costs that it's taken me or how much I've paid to become an agent in North Carolina. So in this video I want to go over the cost it took for me to take the class, take the test, sign up for all the associations, pay all the fees, dues, what have you. As I think this is probably one of the things that most people are hesitant on, or one of the things that people always think about the most when they want to become an agent. So hopefully this will just shed some light to you, maybe give you some information, because I know when I was doing my research, this information wasn't always necessarily readily available for me. So first thing I want to talk about is the class itself, which cost me, I always forget this, the class itself cost me $479. That was through Superior School of Real Estate, as well as I bought a textbook for $47. So, you know, like a little less than 550 bucks for me to get started or for me to take the class. When comparing that to a college class, it's pretty cheap, so nothing too bad. And there are cheaper options out there. You know, CPCC in Charlotte has real estate class. I think it's for like $180. So you have options. I just went with the more expensive one simply because it was the quickest one. You know, I didn't have a semester to take this class. I really wanted to get this done with as soon as possible, and paying the little bit extra money was worth it to me. Now, once you pass the class, you go take the real test, which is one of those proctored, monitored exams, and that costs me, it was $100 for an application fee, and then it was $62 for the actual testing fee. Now, if you don't pass the test, you have to keep paying that $62, so it was pretty important to me to pass everything on the first try, just so I didn't keep, you know, shelling out money to be taking this exam. I also think that might have diminished some of my confidence I had about the exam itself, so it was just very important, both money-wise and just kind of for my mental state about everything, to pass it on the first try. Now, once you pass that exam, and you know, are able to join with a firm, you'll also have to join the Realtor Association as well as the MLS. Now, these are both more exclusively for people that want to become an agent. I believe if you want to go into something like commercial real estate, you might not have to pay these fees. So take that with a grain of salt. Speak to somebody that works in commercial real estate and run that by them to make sure it's correct. If you know, it's a make or break kind of decision for you. That's just what I've heard. So, you know, this might only apply to those of you that want to become an agent. So when I joined the firm, and there was two things I had to pay for. My receipts and transactions don't show exactly which was which, so I don't have that, and I apologize about that. But they were pretty expensive. So one of these were, either the Realtor Association or the MLS, was $770. The other was $387.50. So pretty expensive, but I believe that would bring us up to a total of, like, let's just call it like $1,870 for everything. I should probably run the numbers, but I'll just put it up on the screen so that you can see how much that really costs. So it's expensive, and we're not done there quite yet, because on top of that there is also a quarterly fee for, you know, those little key boxes that you see on houses for sale to get access to them. So I got a prorated fee for getting started, so I only paid $25, but moving forward it's going to be $30 every quarter for me to be able to pay for that stuff. I'm sorry, for me to be able to access houses. I lost my train of thought there. So, you know, it's a little expensive, but it's nothing too terrible. Now, the other kind of real kicker here is that right now I have what we call in North Carolina a provisional license. So it's not the full-on license. There's still a few other things I have to do to become a, you know, a regular broker or non-provisional broker. And one of those things includes taking my post-licensing classes. Now, those are 3 classes that you have to take that are $269 each. Don't know what that brings us to as a total, but something else that, you know, to take into consideration. For those, I have, though, a little bit over a year to pass those, or really just to take those classes. I don't think it's even like a testing thing. I think you just take them. And I am going to hold off on taking those for a little bit because I want to make some money before I continue to shell out, you know, more and more money into all these licensings and whatnot. So I'm going to give that one some time. So that's not an immediate cost, but it's something that, you know, you got to get to sooner rather than later. So I know with that total, it brings us to, something over $2,000. And so while that does sound like a lot of money, because it is a lot of money, when I compare it to the cost of me getting an education, my college education specifically, as you know from the first video, I did a year at community college, 3 years at East Carolina, took me to give or take about $35,000. Comparing the, let's just call it $2,500 for real estate education, becoming a professional, versus $35,000 to becoming a finance professional, their worlds are very similar. My degree was even a concentration in real estate, so there's a lot of similarities between the two. The advantage, though, of getting into real estate young is that you can become a professional in the industry at the youngest possible is 18 years old, which is pretty crazy. A lot of other kind of licensing jobs, requirements, things like that, require for you to have at least like a 4-year university degree or, continue learning after college. So it's a quick way to get started in the industry, especially as a professional, and you can get started at 18 as opposed to like 21, 22 like most people do when they graduate college. And the other advantage to that is if you're not really sure what it is that you want to do with your life or for a living, real estate really introduces you to so many different kinds of people. So real estate allows for you to meet everybody from like every profession. You could see, what their lifestyles are, talk to them about their career. And, meanwhile, you're getting essentially paid to do that, but it helps you say, okay, well, this person makes a lot of money, but they work all the time. Don't want that. This person makes okay money, but they have a very flexible schedule, and that's what interests me. So, it gives you the ability to really kind of plan out what it is that you want to do with your life at, again, a relatively cheap cost. I don't want to make it sound like this is super affordable because it is expensive. But when you compare it to a 4-year degree, even an associate's degree at a community college, it's really cost effective. And, a lot of people make a lot of money from real estate. I have a number in my mind where this will all make sense. So basically like a goal of how much I have to make from doing this for a living. If I don't hit that within like a year or two, then maybe I'll start looking elsewhere at different avenues. So that would be probably the biggest thing I would just say. My one piece of advice is have a number in mind to where this makes sense. I gave up a consistent salary. I know how much I was making. I gave up health benefits, 401k match, all of that for this profession. Because now that I'm a, contract employee, basically, I pay for all of this, and I don't have insurance, I don't have coverage, anything like that. So having a number in mind to where it just makes sense for you to take the leap is probably going to help drive you in the right direction. So we have these costs, we have life costs, we have everything else. Just think about that before making that leap. I hope that this video was informative for you. I hope that it was helpful and maybe you learned something from it. While this information might be specific to Charlotte, North Carolina, and especially for 2020, 2019-ish, it's at least going to be a loose guide for those of you that might be elsewhere. If you found this video helpful, that's great. Thank you. If you have any further questions, please let me know. If you're curious about the timeline, I'll link the video for my last video down below so you can take a look at that and kind of see my timelines for everything. But I think that's it. So I won't hold you up too long today. I'll let you go ahead and enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.